Okay. I didn't mean to get the glitches throw me off. I didn't mean to get rid of those channels because I gotta tag them in my description to maybe get in less trouble. Um, all right. So last night we saw some craziness. Let me make sure I saved that video. It's probably on the it's probably on the no list too, but I'm gonna put it up there anyway. I got a feeling it's probably these top commercialized channels, which I probably should have known better, but whatever. It's a learning experience. Okay. Let me just. Alright, so if you watch the UFC, some craziness happened. And this is what we saw.
Is absorbing these shots. Well, he's already busted up. Oh! Out.
That's all I want him to play. So I'm playing this for a reason. The men's lightweight division is insane. And I was going to transition the women UFC just to talk about the men. But, what do you think about that fight? So to me, before you answer that, to me, this division in the UFC is by far the most entertaining, the hardest hitting. You know, you're right in the middle. You're right in that middle weight class where you get the best combination between power, speed, and technicality. I love this video glitch thing. It's hilarious. What's that? God, it reminds me of a movie. Like, was it Back to the Future? I don't remember. So I don't know. Thoughts? Okay, if you don't have any thoughts, let's talk about this. So,
What if I said something else? I'm like, what?
what are your thoughts on this?
The fight?
Yeah. First of all, did you think that was gonna happen?
No.
Okay. And if you're unfamiliar with if you're unfamiliar with the UFC, you're not gonna like this part of the video anyway, so you might as well jump to another channel.
I mean, yeah, especially because Topuria jumped up a weight class.
Jumped up a weight class.
It says something about his power. And he's junk. He's really bugging.
You guys can't see the spot I froze it on the video. Actually, I'll show you guys. 'Cause this is just funny. Oop. Hold on. Okay. If you look at Taporia, it's just funny. Okay, five more seconds. Anyway, Taporia guy on the left, he jumped up a weight class to fight Oliveira. Now Oliveira is just a badass by anybody's standards. Um, Out of the ring as well, mainly because he dissed Trump. But I'm not gonna go politics there, and who knows? Maybe the first watcher on my channel ever will be a Republican, and then they're like, okay, screw this guy. So this
we don't,
video glitch.
we don't want those people here anyway.
No, we do. We really do. I do. So we can have healthy debates. I will. If you're Republican, we can talk. It's fine. Anyway.
Unless it's about Donald Trump.
So Tapori comes up a weight class. He knocks out Charles Oliveira. Now Charles Oliveira, even Justin Gaethje said he's the hardest hitting person he's ever fought. Right. Now, on top of that, he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he's not one of those
Amazon black belts.
He's not an Amazon black belt. I mean, he's a legit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tried, true, and tried, tested and true.
He's legit.
He's legit, right? I mean, if he doesn't beat you with his hands, he's gonna choke you out. And so I thought he actually had a pretty good plan coming into this, and he just gets knocked out. So that begs the question: Who? So Topuria got the fight because Makachev. Here, let me make me smaller because I did something. I did something I want to play around with on the screen. So I'm gonna make it really, 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 really small. So he gets this fight because this guy vacated the title to move up a weight class too. So Topuria jumps up a weight class to fight in the lightweight weight class because Islam just jumped up to the, oh god, what's the one between, jumped up to welterweight. Okay, so we've got, hold on, there you go. Sorry, I almost messed up my whole dramatic picture thing that I set up. Okay, so we've got Islam who jumped up, and then we've got the new champ, Topuria. Okay, let me just put that rather close together. So, in my opinion, the next fight should be these two guys. Makachev, he beat the guy that used to hold the title in the below him, which was oh my god, same haircut as me. What's his name?
Are you talking about Volkanovski?
Volkanovski. Okay, I mean, so technically Volkanovski has the opportunity to fight for a belt in 3 different weight classes. So I think he should jump at the chance to fight Topuria, but he already beat Volkanovski at the time Volkanovski was the champ, so that doesn't make sense. Plus, Islam is going to fight for the title in the welterweight um, weight class anyway, so that fight's not going to happen. So let's look at the other guys on the list. Look what I did here. Bam, bam. Oh, nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. Okay, cool. Let's move. Okay, check that out. So this is the top 10 of the men's lightweight division, right? So who's gonna fight Topuria next? So I'm gonna get rid of Makachev. Uh, so he's gone, right? He's not gonna follow. He's not gonna fight Topuria. Hopefully, it's something that could happen in the future. But he's already scheduled to fight for the belt for the next. Well, actually, I don't think that's been announced yet officially, but we're all pretty sure that's gonna happen. So to me, let's not instead of announcing who's next, let's just knock out some people, right? So the first one I'm gonna knock out. Who am I gonna knock? Who's definitely not gonna fight Topuria? Topuria.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. Raphael something.
I'll put numbers next to him.
Fizzy.
Fiziev. Okay, so why? Okay, so let's look at Fiziev. I actually took some notes because Fiziev had a hot streak coming in the UFC. He climbed his way into the. I don't know if he made it into the top 5 just because of the names that were in the top 5 at the time. Fiziev is 1-3 in his last 4, including 2 losses to Gaethje, 1 to Gamrot, and I forgot who he beat, but 1-3 to fight for a title is just not going to happen. So we're going to knock out Fiziev. Wait, where did Fiziev go? Oh, there's Fiziev. Okay, cool. Who's next? Who are we knocking out next?
I mean, I feel like what's his Hooker and Dariush
Okay, so let's look at Hooker and Dariush.
Oliveira because he just fought.
Oh yeah. Let's definitely knock out Oliveira. Oliveira just lost, so he's probably the first one we should have knocked out.
I didn't even see him up there until just now.
Well, and I put him up there because I knew I was going to knock him out first, but then I forgot because he was up there. All right, so then you mentioned Hooker and Dariush. Dariush just fought. He fought on the same night on the same card. He won, um, but he's been on a bit of a decline in the division. He needs to work his way back up there. So yeah, I agree. I agree. Let's get rid of Dariush.
I feel the same could be said about Dan Hooker. I feel like the last couple times I've seen him, he hasn't won, but I could be wrong. Could be
Let's
thinking
look.
of someone else, but
Hooker's last fight was a top 10 fight to Gamrot, who's just outside of the top 10, but it was almost a full year ago.
yeah.
So he's
no.
not even really active. So let's get rid of Dan Hooker.
Pimblett.
You gonna knock out Pimblett?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna knock out Pimblett. I'll tell you why.
His stunt, Dana White is not happy about.
Oh really? I didn't know about that.
He's really unhappy about it. He's like, that should have never happened.
Really? I thought that was Okay, so if you watch the fight, what happened was, first of all, it wasn't his stunt. It was Joe
Joe
Rogan.
Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan's like, well, what about Patty Pimblett? Blah 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 blah. And then, so if you guys didn't watch the fights last night, so Patty Pimblett was in the stands, Armin Sarukian was in the stands, Justin Gaethje was in the stands. Um, for the sake of just commenting on those three, let's knock out Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier. And the reason I'm going to knock out these two, well, first of all, Poirier doesn't really have a good argument. He's kind of up and down, but he's uh he's lost to Gaethje. He just beat he just beat Chandler? I forgot his last fight, but he's a little. Oh, he had a title fight
Who?
not too long ago, Poirier, and then he lost. I forgot who he fought. Who did he fight? Makachev, or did he fight? Anyway, he's fighting Holloway. So just based on these two guys fighting each other, they're definitely not the next man up. So I'm gonna knock out Holloway and Poirier. Okay,
Holloway's the BMF holder, though. That's
Holloway
very
is
good.
the BMF holder, but he's fighting Poirier next. So he's
Mhm.
definitely not the next one to fight for the title. Unless they fight really soon, and I forgot to check the
They
date.
are. I'm pretty sure.
Um, but even if okay, if Holloway beats Poirier, he might have something to say about getting his name in for that title shot. But Poirier, I've got to double check his record. He's kind of up and down. Um, he's won most of his fights, but he's lost kind of the bigger ones. So for me, it's really these three. Now, at first, I really hated that. So, sorry, I forgot to continue the story. So at the end of the fight, so these three guys are all there: Sarukian, Gaethje, and Pimblett. And then I
Oh
got
yeah, they're fighting in like 2 weeks.
okay, a few weeks. Will you look at his last two fights? Poirier's.
Oh, look, he didn't realize he lost it to Poirier.
Oh, he already fought to Poirier. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's
very good.
definitely not gonna happen. Did he go down a weight class to do that?
That was his original weight class, was 45. They both moved up.
Poirier? No,
No, I'm talking about Holloway.
oh yeah, no, I know. No, to Poirier's knocked out
Poirier.
Holloway. That's another reason.
So he
Sorry,
lost to.
I forgot. Holloway's been knocked out by Poirier, like not too long ago. So he doesn't really have a legit stake as far as being the next man up. He might have a feature one if he beats Poirier.
Poirier hasn't fought in about a year. Actually, almost. It's June of 24. Islam Makhachev.
Right. Okay. He
Mhm.
fought Makachev for the title. Makachev beat him. Then he either retired or he moved
No,
up after that, or he fought somebody else.
Poirier?
Makachev.
Oh. I'm like, Poirier has not fought since then.
Okay. So anyway, these three guys. So Patty. Anyway, what's his name again? The comment. Joe Rogan's like, well, what about your beef with Patty Pimblett? And Patty Pimblett just walks into the ring, and since Joe Rogan called it out, I was pretty sure this was set up by Dana White. And then I was like, well, Patty Pimblett's ranked number 8. And Patty's ranked number 8 in the UFC website. I think he's ranked number 5 in the ESPN. And I was like, it doesn't really make sense for Patty to be the next man up because he really hasn't fought anybody. Look at Patty Pimblett's last fight. That was his biggest fight. I can't remember the name though. But the thing is, he's 7-0 in the UFC, and he's beat everybody in front of him. So
Oh, it was Michael Chandler.
he beat Michael Chandler, and Michael Chandler is on the way down. He's been struggling ever since he kind of did that on-off thing with oh my god,
McGregor.
with McGregor after the the Ultimate Contender or the Ultimate Fighter. So Patty Pimblett's biggest win was Michael Chandler, who's now ranked number 11 or 12, depending on which ranking source that you're looking at. However, the number next to his name when you're undefeated almost doesn't matter. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? His opponents matter a little bit more. Now, Gaethje's strength of schedule, so to speak, is much stronger, right? Gaethje's fought everybody. He's won his last 3 out of 4. He did lose to Holloway, and I will agree with him that it was kind of an exhibition fight. Um, to add a little bias in his favor, I think that was kind of a fluke. I think if he fights Max Holloway 3 times in a row, he's gonna beat him at least the last 2 times. He broke his nose in the first round. He still fought all the way till the very end of the very last round.
Like,
Um,
still went in the freaking middle to go balls out, knowing how easily he was gonna get knocked out. Because
yeah,
he couldn't breathe.
you can't breathe. So if you break your nose, you can't breathe out your nose. Um, if you've ever fought, it means you're breathing out your mouth. It leaves your jaw hanging, and you're a lot more susceptible to being knocked out. And unfortunately, at the very end of the last round, that's what happened. Um, so then there's Arman Sarukian, and Arman Sarukian is beating everybody in front of him, just like Paddy Pimblett. Sarukian has had a much stronger strength of schedule than Paddy Pimblett. Sarukian's ranked number 1, when Paddy Pimblett's somewhere between 5 and 8, depending on where you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the most logical matchup here is still a toss-up. But here's who I'm eliminated. I'm eliminating Gaethje, and but I'm not gonna take him off the screen because I think this is kind of like a Final Four. So I'm gonna move Gaethje down here. So I think 50-50, I think it makes sense for him to fight Paddy Pimblett. I think it makes sense for him to fight Arman Sarukian. If the UFC follows championships the way that other fights do, there's no question that he would fight Arman Sarukian. Not a question. But there's something that Dana White's really good at, and it falls in line with our conversation at the very beginning. What's Dana White really good at?
Marketing.
He's really good at marketing. He's really good at making money. He's really good at selling tickets. He's really good at selling pay-per-views. He's gonna get that with Paddy Pimblett. He's not gonna get that with Arman Sarukian. But then again, he's competitive, so he wants the best fight possible. It's still crazy that he's a Republican, but then again, I think that if you make over $400,000 a year, then you have a legitimate claim to being a Republican. So, and we know he makes a lot of money, but he's fair when it comes to his sport, and therefore Sarukian is his best matchup there. But here's what I think is going to happen, right? So Sarukian is probably the best matchup for Taborda. Paddy Pimblett is now the commercial matchup. It's the expected matchup based on what happened in the fights last night. So here's what I think is going to happen. I'm going to move Gaethje. I think that this fight is going to happen this way. And I think the one who's going to get screwed the most is going to be.
It's gonna be Gaethje.
No, I don't. I think Gaethje's going to feel like he's screwed, but he's not going to be the one getting screwed the most. Here's what's going to happen. I think Taporia is going to fight Paddy Pimblett. Even if Dana White's mad about it, I think it's going to happen. And I think you could justify it because Paddy Pimblett is. Um, he is undefeated. The only problem with this matchup is that they don't have a fight in Spain scheduled and they don't have a fight in the UK scheduled. But either of those scenarios wouldn't matter anyway if Arman Sarukian was fighting. And I think just based on the uh, the fights that Arman Sarukian and Paddy Pimblett. So Justin Gaethje's definitely had better fights, but he's not undefeated in all those fights. Sarukian's got the combination of both. So But I think Armin's, and that's why I think that he's not going to get screwed as much as Sarukian is. So I think Taporia is going to fight Pimblett. I think it's already kind of set up. I think Gaethje's going to fight Sarukian. Sarukian might decline this fight. If I were him, I probably would. It doesn't make sense for him to fight somebody as lethal as Justin Gaethje. And I think the winner of this fight is going to fight the winner of the other fight. And I think it's going to be Taporia. And I have no idea between Gaethje and Sarukian. I haven't seen enough of Sarukian to make a determination, but it's a good matchup for Gaethje. Anyway, what I want to happen is this. Let me change things around. This is what I want to happen. I want Taporia, Gaethje, Sarukian, and Pimblett, but that just doesn't make sense on anybody's board. So, ladies and gentlemen, your next title fight is gonna be drum roll. That's what's gonna happen. No, you don't agree?
I hope it doesn't.
I don't either. But it's not gonna be Gaethje. If you watch my last video with my wife, we talked about probably a little too casually that Gaethje should probably get another title shot. I think he should. I think he's just one fight away. What you think? Alright, I mean, that's pretty much all I got. I just wanted to hang out with you. I got a surgery tomorrow. Oh shit, what time is it?
11:15.
Okay, cool. I gotta eat as much as possible before. Um, gotta eat as much as possible before,
Yeah, your
midnight.
You should probably do one more, get one more win before.
And if you guys aren't aware, Gaethje's my favorite fighter. So I'm always gonna be biased in his,
I mean, anybody that I used to train with, I'll be biased against. You can't really say. It's more like trained in the same room. Trained on the same mat. Whatever happened to Curtis Bates? I haven't seen him in a minute.
it's a good question. Alright, I gotta add some editing to do on this description. I want to make sure that if anybody finds it later, they can watch it. If you came here to watch Body Cam, which according to my statistics, I had a total of, I'm pretty sure it was 0. Let me go back. And, no, not made for kids.
Oh, I guess he just 5 recently. That's good.
Wait, I had zero watchers on this one. Oh no, I can't get out of this. Oh, YouTube Studio right now. It's not working too well. The best part about doing lives, I'm not editing stuff right now. Oh, I still see the Taporia. Here, let me do this, just since we're still live. You know, I should probably put a lot more videos into this one. In my head, this played out a way differently, especially with the female, first male income thing.
See, Holly Holm went back to boxing and she like dominated.
So she mentioned that Holly Holm is transformative from boxing standpoint, but I just don't think that's true. I mean, if you happen to find this video and you're not a fight fan, just throw in the comments and I'll pin it to the top whether or not you've ever heard of Holly Holm. Yeah, if you watch the UFC, just leave that comment alone. Cool, guys. Well, I got surgery tomorrow. I get a soft state that I'm going to do, but not tomorrow. I'm not going to feel good tomorrow.
It might feel good.
It might feel great. I haven't smelled anything in 2 years.
I'm thinking, get some drugs.
They're not giving me drugs. They give me
So what abandon their freaking Frenchie at an airport?
oh, that's
Look
terrible.
at how cute that is.
What?
I'll take it. I'll keep it.
Oh, the dog's gonna have no problem finding home. All right, guys. Good night. I was a little slow tonight. That's why I have her. You look at her while you listen to me. Oh, I look like shit.